Lady C reveals the shocking truth about Meghan's surrogacy. Hello, friends! Welcome to breaking royal news about the notorious hypocritical couple, Harry and Meghan Markle, on our Kate Middleton and the Queen News version 2 channel. The Harry and Meghan surrogacy question constantly crops up, but a couple of weeks ago, Lady C gave the biggest hint yet that we will probably never know for sure, and nothing will be done about it in one of her members-only videos. When I first heard the rumors about surrogate pregnancies, I did lots of research on the subject and looked at every photo and video of Harry and Meghan whilst pregnant and looked at all their behavior at the time and in the years since in order to disprove it. At the time, the suggestion seemed nonsense to me, but the more I delved into it, the more I believed it. And the angrier I got with their lies, bullying, attacks on the British royal family, manipulation of the media and PR antics, the more I wished for them to be exposed. I felt maybe it would happen after the Queen died, then maybe after the coronation, or maybe after their court cases. Maybe it would come with divorce. I would often get disheartened because nothing was happening, but periodically got boosts of optimism with frequent hints from Lady C that she knew things. She often talked about the topic and gave me the impression it would be exposed. And then just over 2 weeks ago, she said something on her daily podcast that I am going to detail below. She gives daily members-only videos as well as the 3 times weekly free videos, although they do not cover that much about Harry and Meghan. Here is a transcript of what she said in answer to a question on one of those membership videos. I was wondering if you would graciously entertain a hypothetical scenario. If Harry's children were hypothetically surrogates, that is a pregnancy took place, would that place their royal titles in danger at some point down the line? Would this be a hypothetical reason why they would disappear into an abyss and be removed from the line of succession? Well, of course, the fact of the matter is, this is totally hypothetical, and we are making no accusations against anyone. But of course, if in an alternative universe, a hypothetical situation of this nature arose, because there are valid on the face of it birth certificates for the children, you might find that unless there was an initiative from, in a hypothetical situation, a father who was hypothetically involved in a hypothetical scenario such as this, there might be nothing done. The whole thing might remain stum because birth certificates are permanent documents in the UK. There have been cases where someone was misregistered, and I am thinking in particular of the case of the Marquis and Marchioness of Londonderry, and her son was Georgie Fame, who was misregistered as Viscount Castlereagh. And Alistair Londonderry, when he discovered that the child was not his, actually applied to the courts and had it delegitimized and removed from the line of succession to the Londonderry title. And Alistair's son with Doreen Wells, the former ballerina, is now the present Marquis of Londonderry, having been Viscount Castlereagh after his putative brother, who turned out not to be his brother at all. So there are legal precedents for the delegitimization of children. This situation in a hypothetical case would be so incendiary that it would be very difficult to see the circumstance that would force the hand of anybody but the father concerned. Because unless there was absolute proof that surrogates had been involved, and it became impossible to deny or ignore would be a better word, what had happened, it would be highly likely that the status quo would remain intact. As for the line of succession, as long as in a hypothetical situation illegitimate children are officially legitimate, they remain in the line of succession as a birthright. So, unless there would be behind-the-scenes agreements to which the hypothetical father agreed in reality, the likelihood is that nothing would change. Now, if, in a hypothetical situation, there is no relationship to reality, and I'm making no assertions of anything, I am just answering a hypothetical question. But in the event of a hypothetical scenario arising, as has been propounded by the questioner, and the situation was regularized, the children would be delegitimized and would lose their titles as well as their place in the line of succession. I can imagine situations that would warrant such an outcome hypothetically, but in reality, I think it is a pretty far stretch because, aside from anything else, would be the embarrassment factor. And the fact that critics of all the innocent parties that those that had not known of the situation until it was too late to reverse it, would be so embarrassed and humiliated that it would take very special circumstances for any hypothetical situation of this nature to arise and be dealt with in such a way that titles were removed, etc. And I emphasize again, I am not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just answering a hypothetical question. And I'm sure the hypothetical question has arisen as a result of the conduct of certain parties who, if their conduct had been different, no one would be asking such hypothetical questions. So much blame as needs to be attributed can be fairly attributed to those who created mysteries where there should have been no mysteries whatsoever as a result of their own conduct. I personally do believe Lady C knows some things but does not have a smoking gun. But she risks being sued if she asserts things and cannot defend herself without access to medical records which she cannot legally obtain. The same is true of the media, who are far more cowardly than Lady C cynics, and critics will say either she is making it up or does not know one way or the other and is stringing it along for clicks and revenue. I personally think she has a good deal of integrity, although I know she is a Marmite character to many. I think she is like many of us, who cannot do anything about it or call them out, but do not want to let the issue go away and let them get away with it, so she keeps referring to it, and she keeps getting lots of questions about it, which she tries her best to answer. I do not intend to go over all the evidence for why I came to believe surrogacy rumors as it has been done many times recently, but one of the key factors for me is that the speculation is damaging to Harry and Meghan's reputations and their kids, and they do nothing to dispel it, which they easily could do if they wanted, assuming both pregnancies and births were non-controversial. Some people say it is a matter of their freedom of reproductive choice and nobody else's business, but it has legal and constitutional ramifications in the UK. The biggest reason why the issue is important to me is that I believe it plays a big part in their decision to attack the press and online freedom of speech, cry racism, attack the British royal family, quit be pushed from the UK, and step down as working royals. Assuming they used surrogates, if we don't understand this part of the jigsaw of information, it stacks the narrative against the British royal family, who were defending themselves against things we don't know about. I believe what Lady C says, in that it is too damaging now for the RF to expose it. But I suspect maybe Harry and Meghan reneged on a deal that they made with the RF, which was quit as working royals. Don't take titles for your kids, live a quiet life overseas, and in return, we will not expose your deceit. Instead, they have tried to set themselves up as rival overseas royals, seized titles for their kids, sought full-on in-your-face publicity, and lobbed grenade after grenade at the British royal family. The only institution that could safely expose Harry and Meghan would be the UK Parliament. I wonder if Lady C perhaps thought something was going to happen with Parliament, but is now not going ahead. Hence her statement, as per the recent transcript, that she thinks nothing will happen. This is just a guess, though. The British royal family will not want this exposed, assuming it happened, and so politicians are in a very weak position to raise the matter on anything other than hearsay. It is not in politicians' interests at this time to rock the boat on this matter anyway. Lady C says the only person who could realistically do anything about it is Harry himself. Maybe this implies that Harry is infertile. This would mean they needed IVF, and perhaps Meg persuaded him that they stood a better chance of success in a younger surrogate. She would have been keen to cement the marriage with a baby ASAP. It is even possible that she is infertile too, so they have an extra bond between them, partners in crime. If Harry divorces, he may want to cut himself off from kids that are not biologically his, and cut off Meghan's source of power as being mother to kids in the line of succession. But in doing so, he would have the embarrassment of owning up to a major deceit, which would damage him and his family. In the long run, though, it would probably help him rehabilitate himself. Otherwise, if this scenario were true, he would permanently get criticized by the press for being a lousy absent father to 2 kids, who only he knows are not actually his, whilst allowing Meghan to milk the royal family for funds, and no one would know the truth behind it. I used to think it was more likely Meghan was incapable of having kids, hence the need to use a surrogate. But reports of Harry living in a hotel room and moving to Africa now make me less sure. If it were the other way round and they are his kids and she is infertile, if he admitted it, there might be more chance of him getting custody of the kids and cutting Meghan out of the royal family's life like the cancer that she is. However, it is not that simple, because if she has legally adopted non-biological kids, she still has parental rights if she wants them. If surrogacies are true, and Harry and Meghan have committed this fraud together and neither admits to it publicly, they are forever tied together in their web of deceit with power over each other. If they divorce, they have it hanging over their heads together, never knowing when the other is going to blackmail them or grass them up. If I were Harry, I think I would want a clean break that is based on the truth, but I doubt he will see it that way. It would certainly put an interesting spin on who wants to divorce who and who holds the best cards in their hand. I've never bought the surrogacy rumors either, but because the British royal family could not allow such a situation, as it would destabilize the monarchy and the British government and lead, I believe, to the absolute destruction of the monarchy. Why would they risk that for Meghan and Harry? I've said it many times. They would not have cared as a family about surrogacy if Meghan had medical issues. They would have welcomed the child lovingly as a member of the family, but they would have handled it quietly and given the duo the option of either going public or Harry removing himself and his descendants from the line of succession prior to the birth of Archie. The UK doctors that attended Archie's birth would also not have risked their careers to hide this sort of deception. I would imagine any court would rule that a right to privacy is trumped by something like perpetrating fraud against the whole country. Same for those judges who might have been asked to seal any adoption records or issue a super injunction. No judge would do that to hide something so illegal. They have an obligation to uphold the laws of the land and would be disbarred if it was found out they concealed something like this. Why would they do that for Harry and Meghan? That said, I do think there is an issue with a child born of a surrogate being that high in the line of succession. Hypothetically, in 20 years, William could be king, and Archie could return to the UK. The top 4 adults in the line of succession, councillors of state, residents in the UK could be George, Charlotte, Louis, and Archie. Another reason why I think the British royal family, doctors, and judges would not have allowed for the deception. But also, the reason that I think any child born in the top 10 in the line of succession should be attended by a royal doctor and born in the UK to be allowed in the line of succession. Can I just say, in reference to my last point, I find it so bizarre that Meghan would not have used the royal doctors? They had to be among the top doctors in the UK. Why would you not take advantage of that? To claim that you were modernizing the monarchy? Following Lady C's video, which I have given the transcript of, I had just about come to terms with the fact that we may never know. And then the issue has arisen again with Lady C raising questions about their birth certificates. But just because we fear they will never be exposed doesn't mean we should shut up about it and let them get away with their behavior relating to their kids. They deserve all the speculation, and if they don't like it, they can easily dispel it with appropriate information. I, for one, will never mention the S word again if reputable doctors and hospitals, at Harry and Meghan's request, own up to the births, and they clear up all the plainly bonkers birth stories, and she admits she wore a vanity moon bump over her real bump and explains why she changed Archie's birth certificate. As Lady C says, they have bought into the speculation themselves based on their own behavior. So if Lady C strongly believes or knows that they have used surrogates but cannot prove it, I don't think she should shut up about it. And one day the pressure may force them to slip up and reveal something. But in the meantime, we may have to wait a long time to really get to the truth. Besides, Harry is also a cancer of the British royal family. Years and years and years of trying to make him do something positive for Harry were nothing more than years in which the whole world was against him without letting him do what he wanted. And now that he does what he wants, he doesn't stop demanding that the British royal family support him, even though what he does is absurd. The British royal family is not an idiot and knows very well that Meghan is not the only one responsible. What they hate about Meghan is that she only enhances the worst in Harry, that she has not been someone positive for him, but someone toxic, and that she exploits the worst side of Harry to benefit herself. But that doesn't make them blind to the fact that Harry is a problem. Harry rarely made headlines for his positive actions. It was always for some idiot. How those real children were born is irrelevant. That they are in the line of succession? Yeah. Just like Andrew, just like Edward, just like Sienna, just like August, just like the Tyndall kids. Andrew was once third in line. Now it's the 8th? Harry is now 5th. He was 6th, but before he was 3rd and 4th. Everyone below George is not guaranteed a place in the line of succession. Are Sussex children not entitled to titles for being surrogates? They had no right to the title. Spot. They were born when their grandfather was not king. The letter patent has no retroactive application. But yes, they have titles, but not by law, but by lawyers. Harry fought for those titles, and they gave them to him because what are they really? Wet paper. Meghan believes that she could exploit the British royal family for having these children. Who told her that this is going to happen? Where is it written that the British royal family has to do something for these children? Harry is the one who appears as a father, so he is the one who has to support those children. Nobody else. And if Meghan retains custody, that's his problem. As is the case with Peter Phillips and his daughters. Savannah and Isla Phillips support themselves on their parents' wages. Beatrice and Eugenie also lived on what their parents earned. Just because they were beloved granddaughters of the Queen did not mean that she supported them. Sussex children have no right to demand photos with the king, no inheritance, no money, nothing. The power to be a prince and princess is not in the title. It is in how much it is related to the monarch or not. Look at the Casaraghi. They don't have titles of nobility, so they are close to Albert. They perform events organized by the palace, so they have stardust for everyone. Look at the Tyndalls. What Meghan did to have those children only ties Harry down. That those children are in the line of succession? Yes, in the parallel branch. They are no longer from the main branch. That is the position of George, Charlotte, and Louis. If George marries and has no children, it will be Charlotte's children and Louis's children who will inherit the throne. Not Harry, not his kids Archie and Lild, not their kids. Meghan can only boast of being married to Harry and having 2 children, a prince and a princess, and does that make her special? No, it does not make her special because she is not and will not be a princess. So everything the Harkles concocted to get something for those kids was of zero benefit. What do you think about Meghan Markle's surrogacy? Let us know your thoughts below in the comments section. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this newsletter. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.